The hidden meaning behind Xiao Zhan's viral red envelope photo. Hello everyone, welcome back to Chinese Stars, your go-to place for the latest in Asian entertainment. Some dramas go viral after release, some spark discussion after a trailer drops, but every once in a while, a project starts trending before anything officially begins, and that's exactly what's happening with 10 Days End, the new drama starring Xiao Zhan. On the day of the opening ceremony, everything should have been routine, no official footage, no character reveal, just a standard start of filming event, and yet, one simple photo changed everything. In that image, Xiao Zhan isn't looking at the camera, he isn't waving to fans, he isn't posing, he's just slightly lowering his gaze, quietly focused on the small red envelope in his hand, and somehow, that tiny moment instantly went viral, earning him the nickname Little Money Lover. It sounds playful, even cute, but if we stop there, we miss what actually makes this moment so powerful. Because when you really look at it, there's no performance in his expression, no calculated angle, no media-trained perfection, just a natural reaction, a mix of curiosity and focus, like anyone holding something small but meaningful and wondering what's inside. And in an industry where almost everything is carefully controlled and polished, that kind of authenticity stands out more than anything else. For a brief second, Xiao Zhan doesn't feel like a top star at all, he feels like someone on their first day of work, holding a red envelope with a quiet sense of anticipation, and that feeling is something everyone understands, which is exactly why people connected with it so quickly. But the deeper layer of this moment comes from what that red envelope represents. In the Chinese entertainment industry, opening ceremony envelopes were once symbols of prosperity and confidence, often filled with lucky numbers like 888 or 1888, reflecting big budgets and even bigger expectations. But today, the industry has changed, budgets are tighter, risks are higher, and productions are more cautious, meaning that these envelopes are now often symbolic, sometimes containing only a small amount or even just a lottery ticket, blending hope with uncertainty. So the real question is no longer how much money is inside, but what it represents: a new beginning, a new project, a new risk. And that's why his focused gaze matters, because it reflects the mindset of someone stepping into something new, not as a celebrity, but as a working professional. If you've followed him for years, this moment might feel strangely familiar, because people often say he has changed, yet somehow stayed the same, and that contradiction actually makes sense. You might remember the moment when fans shouted that his hands were hurting and asked him to stop clapping, but instead of stopping, he smiled and clapped even harder, turning concern into something light and playful, showing a kind of instinctive emotional awareness, not ignoring the audience, but responding in a way that shifted the mood entirely. And that same instinct appears again here, in a completely different context, but with the same effect: no dramatic action, no obvious intention, yet the moment becomes memorable. This is what people often call stage sense, an internal awareness of timing, emotion, and audience connection, something that isn't always visible, but reveals itself in spontaneous moments like these. Even the release of this photo feels intentional in its simplicity, because instead of formal group shots or traditional ceremony images, we get a small, human detail that invites interpretation, and suddenly, the conversation shifts. People are no longer asking whether the drama will succeed, they're asking what's inside the envelope, and that shift is subtle, but incredibly effective. At the same time, we can't ignore the fact that 10 Days End itself is a highly ambitious project, moving away from traditional crime storytelling into something more complex: time loops, survival games, strict rules, and high-intelligence mind battles, a genre that requires not just attention, but engagement from the audience. And at the center of it all is Xiao Zhan, taking on a role that demands precision, control, and depth, a role where even small mistakes will be noticed, but where a strong performance could redefine how he is perceived as an actor. So when we look back at that Little Money Lover moment, it's no longer just a cute image, but part of a much larger story about an industry in transition, an actor evolving, and a project beginning under high expectations. And maybe that's why people keep coming back to that photo, not because of the envelope, not because of what's inside, but because it feels real, a moment that isn't perfect, isn't staged, but somehow says something honest. And now the question is, do you think that moment was completely natural, or the result of years of instinct as a performer, and more importantly, do you believe Xiao Zhan can truly deliver in a high-intelligence suspense drama like 10 Days End? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because this story is only just getting started.